Hello Year 6 and welcome to Thursday's literacy lesson. So today we are continuing with the firework contest text, which starts on page 23. So make sure that you have another read of that. I know you might remember bits, but make sure you have a read to refresh your memory. And the questions that we're looking at today are the inference questions. So we're going to be answering inference questions. Remember, inference means where the answer might not exactly be in the text, you've got to use clues and evidence to help. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the inference questions on page 28. Okay, so make sure that you've got it ready. Now, I'm going to go over a couple of things with you to help you today. Now, I've noticed when your answers have come in that we're still getting a little bit tripped up with fact and opinion. So you've got a fact and opinion question today, okay? So we're going to go over that. Now I've got a list of facts and opinions, so a mixture here, and we're going to have a little go first together, just so that we can get it clear in our heads what a fact is, what an opinion is, okay? So remember that a fact is something that nobody can argue with. It's the absolute truth. Okay, nobody could say, oh, actually, I disagree with that. It's the actual truth. Okay, so I might say it's January. We are in the month of January. Now, we are. No one can argue that. No one can say, oh, actually, I think it's December. They can't argue that because it is a fact. Okay. However, there's some things that we might have a difference of opinion on. So I might say, oh, those oatcakes were absolutely lovely. I really enjoyed them. Someone might say, oh no, they were a bit soggy. I didn't enjoy them at all. So that's an opinion. We're allowed a different opinion, but we can argue opinions. Okay, some people can disagree with them. Okay, so what I would like you to do in a moment is I'd like you to pause the video on my list of facts and opinions. Now, I'm not going to get you to write them all down. That would take you ages. You might want to give them a number. Okay, so you might decide that number 1 is a fact and you'd put 1 an F. You might put 2 an O if you think that number 2 is an opinion. Okay, so I'm going to step to the side so that you can see them. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video now and have a go and see if these are a fact or opinion. Just put a number, an F or O. Right, okay, so you should have given yourself time to have a really good look through them. So let's have a look at them together and then you can see how you've done, okay? So the first one then, that man has a beard. So hopefully you should have that written down as a fact, okay? So if you look at somebody and they've got a beard, nobody can say, oh no, it's not a beard, okay? If they've got a beard, haven't they? That's a fact. Okay, apples taste better than pears. Now, you should have that down as an opinion. Some people might think apples taste better. Some people might think pears taste better. Both are opinions. Okay, there's a frog in the pond. Now, I would have that down as a fact. If there's a frog in the pond, there's a frog in the pond. Nobody can argue with it, can they? Okay, it's there, it's in the pond, and you can see it. Okay? Right, so you shouldn't go swimming in the sea is an opinion. Okay, so some people might say you shouldn't go swimming in the sea, it's really, really dangerous. Some people might say it's okay to go swimming in the sea. Okay, so that's an opinion. Red is the best colour is an opinion. Some people might think red, some people might think green, some people might think yellow. Okay, and then the final one, the year is 2021. Okay, that is a fact. No one can argue with that. It definitely is 2021. So have a look how you've done. Okay, and then hopefully that's reminded you what makes something a fact and what makes an opinion. Okay, and that will help you with your questions today. Okay, so there's a couple more that I want to go over, and that is using evidence. Using evidence is really, really, really tricky. Okay, everybody has been having a go. I've seen, because it says lots of times in the work that you have sent to me, which is brilliant, because it says it's a great way of remembering to include that evidence. So I've got a couple of questions, not the ones that you're doing today, but they are really similar to ones that you are doing today, so it will help you. Okay. Often evidence questions have 2 marks written next to them. So that gives you a clue as well that you need to be putting 2 bits in. So it might be your answer and then your backup using the evidence. Okay. So my question that I'm going to answer and show you how to do is what evidence is there that organisers are addressing the concerns? So in the text, some people have got concerns about a few things to do with the firework contest. So you've got to find some evidence that shows that the organisers are addressing these concerns. Well, I've got to find it because this is my question. Okay, so I'm going to go to the text. Okay. So I've got to find that bit first. So I need to find out the bit where it talks about concerns and where it talks about the organisers. So remember, still really important that you use keywords in the text. If I just go back, so I've made this bit blue, what evidence? So I know it's really important I get some evidence in there, okay? And then the keyword that I'm going to look for organisers and I'm going to look for concerns so I can quickly find it. Okay, so I'm going to look for those things. Okay, so I'm going to have using my skimming and scanning skills, I'm going to have a quick look. Okay, I can't see any of those words. I'm looking for concerns and organisers. So I can't find any there. Let's have a look on these pages. Oh, I've spotted the word organisers. Okay, so I'm going to look at this bit. So it says that organisers of this year's event have addressed the environment society's concerns. Oh, and there's that word concerns as well. Okay, I know you can't see this brilliantly, so you might want to look. It's the paragraph with the first word is Julie, and it's on page 25. So bins for litter and recycling have been distributed throughout the park. So straight away I can see something that they're doing. That's evidence. They've put lots and lots of litter bins. Okay. There's something not large. They drafted in a team of 50 gallant litter pickers. So they've got litter pickers as well. So straight away that's 2 bits of evidence. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would put that into an answer. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the question and make sure that my answer answers the question. So I'm looking for evidence that the organisers are addressing the concerns. Okay. I can see the organisers are addressing the concerns because it says there are litter and recycling bins throughout the park, and there is a team of litter pickers. Okay, so you can see that I've got my evidence. If I just zoom in on this little bit. Okay, so I've put that I can see that the organisers are addressing the concerns, and then I've got my key phrase because it says that there are litter and recycling bins throughout the park and there is a team of litter pickers. Okay, so I've got that evidence. I've put a couple of bits of evidence in to help to support my answer. Okay, it's asking for evidence. There it is. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at another question together. Okay, so again, so I've got, how does Sammy Khalija feel about the firework contest? Okay, so it's something about how she feels. So I could just answer like, oh, she doesn't like it. Okay, so and that'd be it. But it's really important. That would only get me 1 mark. So I've showed that I've understood the text because I've said she doesn't like it. But this is the important bit. Use evidence from the text to explain your answer. So you've got to find that bit of evidence that's told you that she doesn't like it. Okay, well, or she does like it, or whatever. However you think she feels, you've got to then have the evidence to support that. Okay, so I will show you what I would do. So first thing, I've got to find this name in the text because that's who I'm talking about. And I want to know how she feels. Once I've decided how she feels, what's the evidence that told me she felt that way? Okay, so So here's Sammy, and it says that tells us, sorry, it's a man. His worries about the litter. Okay, so it says he's proud that the town plays host to this dazzling event, but it's a shame to see that the beautiful park flooded by a sea of rubbish, including carelessly discarded drink cans and crisp packets. So I don't think he particularly doesn't like it. He likes and is proud of the event. However, he doesn't like that there's lots and lots of rubbish. Okay, so I think I'm going to say that he has mixed feelings. Okay, so I'll show you what I would write. Now I might, before I start writing, underline the bit that I need. So, or I'm just going to put a star here. So I'm going to underline proud and real shame about the rubbish. Okay, so I'm going to underline those bits to help you when I do my answer. So, I think Sammy has mixed feelings. And the really important phrase, because it says he is proud of the contest, but he doesn't like the litter it brings. He says it is a real shame. Okay, so I'm going back now and making sure I've answered the question. So the question was, how does he feel and what evidence is there? So I've said that he has mixed feelings, and my evidence is because it says he is proud of the contest, but he doesn't like the litter it brings. He says it is a real shame. So I've picked that evidence out of the text. Okay, so you've got quite a few evidence questions today. Okay, so you've got quite a few evidence questions today. So make sure that you are finding the evidence in the text to support your answer. You are brilliant at retrieval. I can tell that from all the work that came in yesterday. So you can find it, but remember you've got to use some evidence to support it. And there's lots of evidence for questions today. Okay, so use what I have done for my questions. Find your answer, underline it, then support your ideas with your evidence. Okay, so that's today's reading. Okay, I really hope you're enjoying it. So today's word power work is on page 24, and it's writing to argue today, okay, which I'm sure some of you will be brilliant at. Some of the word power work has been quite tricky. It's just a little something to get your brain going. Your main literacy work is your comprehension. So please don't worry about the word power. I just want you to have a little go, just to remind you of some techniques and to get your brain going, really. It's a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so today's word power work, page 24. So the first bit, you've got two arguments. You've got A and B. Okay, so two different arguments. They're both about wanting more PE lessons in school. So for some of you, that would be a thumbs up. For some, not so much. Okay, so they're both about wanting more PE lessons in school. Then you'll notice underneath, there is a list of features in argument writing. So you've got a list of features here. So in argument A and argument B, so you've got to say, so this first feature, for example, uses the words I, me, or my repeatedly. Remember, repeatedly means over and over again. So you've got to say whether that's a feature of argument A or argument B. So I'd go back, have a look. So I can see straight away that argument A has got I. So there's lots and lots in that one. There's none in B. So that would be a feature of argument A. Okay, so then you would go down each of these features and say whether they are a feature of argument A or argument B. Okay, so that's that bit there. So then the next bit, so you've got to decide whether you think argument A or argument B is more convincing. Okay, so you've got to put, I think argument A or B is more convincing than argument A or B. Reasons why the argument is good. So the one that you think is the best one, why do you think it is? So I would use those techniques on the front page. So it might be that you think because it's personal, because it uses I. It might be that because it uses persuasive language, something like that. Then why you think the argument is bad. So the one that you think is not as good, why? Okay, use the features to help you with that. Okay, then the next bit is your turn. So it says it's time for you to have your own argument. Okay, so you can use some of the ideas. Remember, this is just a little challenge to do a little bit of writing. So a change in school life now. So you might say that you want us to be back in school. That might be the change that you want. You might want us back in school, and then why? So all the arguments why. So it might be that you miss your friends, or that you want to be with your teacher. You don't like online learning, or something like that. So it could be that. Maybe you want a school trip, if we ever get one of those again. And so you could argue for a school trip. Maybe you prefer not to wear school uniform. Okay, so those of you that are in school at the moment, because you've got to be in school, you might say something about you enjoy wearing your uniform, you're still just as smart. Okay, so remember all of those, you've got to try and make your argument convincing. So go back to these features here, things that you can do to make it persuasive and a good argument. And then finally, it just asks you what you've learned from these pages to make arguments more effective. Okay, so please don't worry about the word power work. Remember, it's just something in addition to our comprehension today, just a little challenge. I know a few of you have told me that you've been finding it tricky. Okay, so enjoy having a look at arguments and trying to persuade us of something. And I will see you tomorrow.